Hey, folks, welcome to Affiliate Nerd Out. I'm your nerderator, Dustin House, spreading that good word about affiliate marketing. You're going to find me here live on Thursdays, 12:15 Pacific time. So put it on your calendar. Be here and hang out with me and my friend in the Nerdatorium. And my buddy today is Gerry Black, master copywriter. And he's going to teach us a little bit about how to convert more website visits into sales. Gerry, welcome to the Nerdatorium, sir.
Dustin, how are you? Glad to
Uh,
be on board as today's nerd.
well, well earned. I mean, I followed your work for the last couple of years when you were working with Matt McWilliams, and you made a compelling argument to help me with my course in a couple of different ways, and I really appreciate the time that you've given me over the years. So glad to have you. And if you'd like to be in Gerry's seat here, go to dustinhouse.com/nerd and put in a topic that you want to nerd out about. Our question of the day today is your company nurture emails closing enough sales? And I think the answer is universally going to be no on this, right, Gerry?
I think that's fair to say. A lot of people don't realize that the gold, Dustin, is in the follow up.
Yeah.
One of the things very few people realize is it takes, and this is kind of translates to real life selling. It takes about 5 to 12 touches before you're going to be able to create that kind of know, like, and trust factor with your prospect before he or she will buy. So, and it's just something that a lot of marketers don't they don't know that, and they also don't take the time to implement a system that will help them do that
Great.
automatically.
All right, we'll get more into that, into the nitty gritty. But before we get into that, Gerry, who are you?
Well, I been around for a little bit, and I guess I started looking into copywriting and marketing about 15, 20 years ago, and I always had a few clients I work with, Dustin. I sort of come from a sales background, so I'm salesperson first, copywriter second. And so I started working with a number of bigger clients. And gradually, I just found the smaller clients were a lot more fun to work with
Hmm.
because you could see the needle move and they were much more appreciative. Where the big companies, sometimes they didn't even know I'd done something for them. I just got lost in room 12B down the hall or something
Oh,
like
funny.
that. But and then I had an opportunity a couple of years ago to hook up with somebody I'd been reading about and watching a lot, and that was Matt McWilliams. I'm sure your audience is pretty familiar with Matt. He's kind of carved a niche for himself as the affiliate guy,
Yeah.
and so he was looking for an email copywriter. And I saw that, I saw the application, and then I thought, I didn't have a lot of experience in affiliate marketing. I feel like I've been in affiliate marketing on steroids over the last 2 years, having worked with Matt, because of course that's all he does.
Yeah.
So it was a great experience. I got to work with some of his clients, like Jeff Walker, Ryan Levesque, Tony Robbins, and did a lot of writing for them because they were his clients, and I was kind of the ghostwriter, if you will,
Okay.
in behind the scenes.
Well, that's a good gig to have. He's a very knowledgeable part of the affiliate community out there, and it's hard not to see some of his content that he's pounded out through the years. And incredible that you've been working with him. Like, can you tell us a little bit about like your transition from copywriting for your traditional clients and then that move into the affiliate realm that you've been living in for a while?
Yeah, it wasn't actually a huge leap, mainly
Okay.
because got my training way back from American Writers and Artists Institute, and my focus was direct response. So my job at writing copy for my clients has always been to generate response. So create leads, close sales. Um, so I that doesn't mean I don't write blog copy and landing pages, which are all kind of affiliated with that,
Hmm.
but for the most part, my job was to generate clicks. So when I started working with Matt, I was just they live in that world. That
Yeah.
every email he pumps out it's got to earn its keep.
Mhm.
And so my job is to make sure people keep clicking. And so I learned a lot in working with him, just because of, even though it's the same basic kind of environment, there are things in the affiliate marketing world that different nuances that I had to learn as I went through that. And so I thoroughly enjoyed it. It was quite an experience.
Awesome. And your experience with Matt, mostly in the email space, but also landing pages as well. And the SEO behind the right landing pages is really essential to driving that traffic from Google to your website. Can you talk a little bit about that journey of like how you how you like evolved from SEO and email copy into like focusing on that traffic that's landing on pages?
Yeah, I think the one thing that people sometimes lose sight of, once you factor in SEO, which is important to be able to tie into what people are interested in, you still have to remember people are people and people buy from people. So if you pump out, and you see this on websites and also in emails, if you just pump out a bunch of keywords, I mean, it becomes apparent very quickly that it kind of loses its context for the
Hmm.
reader. Reader, it's not understandable. Like selling, whether you're using SEO or not, selling is selling, and you have to combine emotion and logic with the SEO. So the SEO is built into it, but it almost has to be done so you don't even see it, right? It's a silent. It's kind of the silent partner. It's not like somebody lands on a landing page, goes, "Oh, geez, that's great. Look at there's all my keywords that I plugged in, and oh, they've mentioned it again." And right? It's what all people care about is how are you going to make my life better, and
Right.
and right. So it's kind of like I look at SEO a little bit like when somebody does maintenance on the car. You never see it, but your car runs smoothly when you drive
Sure.
it out of the garage. And nobody cares about SEO except the people in the business, of course, and the people who benefit from the SEO results it produces.
Hmm.
But the end user does not care. They are not at all interested. So writing for people has to take priority over the SEO, if you know what I mean. So it's a mixture. They work together, I guess, is the way to put it. It's like web design and web content. They work together and form a complete package.
That's a really smart analogy with the car there. I've never thought in that like conceptually in that aspect. But it totally makes sense. So let's get into our topic of the day, and that is how to convert more web visitors into sales. And this is your forte. And tell us where do you start off when you start working with clients? What's the number one thing we go to here?
Well, the first thing I do is kind of an audit of what their website is all about, and I also want to know if they're using email autoresponder,
Okay.
because that tells me a lot right there. In just two or three questions, I can understand where they are in terms of creating an effective system.
Hmm.
So and it basically boils down to this: the first thing I look at is their website. I want to see if they've got a headline that telegraphs to the reader what value they can get if they consider doing business with that particular marketer. Like when you think about it, 25 years ago, before the internet, we had to call up a marketer or a business owner and either listen to some cheesy sales pitch or ask for a brochure because there wasn't any information.
Okay.
Now, today, by the time a web visitor hits your site, they've probably checked out six or seven of your competitors. They already know the thing that is going to solve their problem. The number one question that they have in their mind, and this is a question every marketer should be acutely aware of, because if you don't hook them and get their attention right at the beginning, you're done. The question, and it comes from Dan Kennedy years ago, And the question that the person visiting your site wants answered is why, with all of the options available to me, including doing nothing, why should I pick you to solve my problem
Hmm.
or fulfill my need? Because they understand what the thing is. They just need to know what makes you special and why should I pick you. So when I look at a website and look at the top of the page where you've got basically 3 to 5 seconds to either grab my attention or I'm clicking away, I can tell right away if they need help because often the headline will be selling their stuff. It'll say something like, "Oh, we have great software. You should buy it." Like it's pretty weak, but
Oh,
it doesn't tap into what the reader or the web visitor is interested in, which is how are you going to make my life better?
right,
How are
right.
you uniquely positioned to do that?
And I feel like that goes the same with affiliate managers' pitch for clients as well. Like every affiliate manager out there that is writing copy to recruit affiliates and should go through some kind of copywriting um, course to get a little bit better on like and fine tune the way that they're approaching and in 2 sentences you have to be able to describe why uh, your product should be promoted on their website or content over the competitors, and it's a very good tie-in for like your essential truths of marketing, right? So like your truth number one that I've recognized and talked about is 5% of website visitors are now buyers. Can you give us a little bit more insight into what where that comes from?
Sure. It's funny when we as marketers are out there in business land, uh, we don't really think of some of these statistics that have been around forever. That 5% number is is goes back quite some time, and it's a
Really?
universal statistic. It's not something I made up. It's very few people are ready to buy the day they land on your website. It doesn't mean they're not going to buy, and in fact, I think the statistics will bear out they are going to buy eventually.
Okay.
But it's like anything else. If you're selling a widget, sure, that's the now buyer. Like something where it doesn't take much brain power to make a decision. It's something maybe inexpensive or something they really need. That's who the now buyer is. They've got to make that purchase that day. The rest of them, they don't want to make a mistake, so they don't want to make a bad investment, so they need nurturing. And that's where many marketers miss out and leave money on the table because they don't have a way to get the email address of the visitor. So that's a lead magnet in the form of a free report or a mini course or something like that. Something that you can exchange value for
Yeah.
their email address. Because if you can't recontact somebody you basically paid someone to get to your site, you basically wasted your investment because if you don't have a way to recontact them, they're just going to go off. They're going to go, oh, that was nice. They're going to go off and they're going to buy from a competitor. And that's the ultimate, punch in the gut is that you basically got the person there, but because you didn't weren't equipped with a system to get them email address and then put it into an email autoresponder where you can continue to nurture and educate them, you basically squandered 95% of the traffic that you invested time, money, and effort to get to you.
Yes, excellent point. And what about your percentage of like clientele that you have a initial phone call with and say, "Hey, are you putting these drip campaigns in order, or do you have something established?" I, in my mind, like every website I go to has some kind of pop up at this point, like in this day and era. But do you not find that is true in the ecom space and whatever areas of expertise that you have in that realm?
I think I see a mixed bag. One of the
Okay.
things that the pop up, nobody needs another newsletter. Nobody needs another this. What they even though it is free, it needs to be sold.
Hmm.
So in other words, And the audience will have an opportunity to download something I'm offering at the end of the podcast, and they'll see what I mean by that. But even though it's free, you're battling for probably one of the most difficult things to get in this day and age, and that is share of the prospect's mind, just getting their attention. It's a dogfight. It's like the number one Scrabble today to try and get the attention of prospects. So you can't just say, "Hey, ask for my free report,"
Hmm.
and we'll surprise you when you get it. You got to sell it, even though it's free. And so once you do that, basically the prospect has put up their hand and said, "Hey, I'm interested,"
Hmm.
right? And never forget. It's often referred to as a ethical bribe,
Huh.
but never forget this is intended to be a mutually beneficial relationship. So you always have to make sure you deliver value, and typically the value that you offer should solve an immediate problem that the prospect has. So that's why they give you their email address. It's not like, "Oh, I'll help you out one day." It's like, "I'm going to help you out right now."
Yeah.
And then of course you live or die based on the content you provide. If the prospect finds it uh, practical and useful, they'll stick around because they'll want more of it. And of course that's our job with the email campaign, the nurturing campaign, is to keep delivering valuable content that builds a know, like, and trust factor until they're ready to buy, that 95% that didn't buy day one.
Beautiful. And that leads right into your marketing truth number two. And I saw a crazy stat that you brought up is an average of, it said 5 to 12 touches, but like if you're in reality, it's an average of 8 touches before a purchase happens. Like that's an incredible stat. And it's just preaching what you are preaching right now is that you cannot get that sale landed on that first one. But I didn't realize it took 8 touches. That's incredible.
Well, it's a process. And when you think about what the prospect is faced with on the other side of the desk, right? Figuratively speaking, they've got a lot of decisions to make. Again, they don't want to make a mistake, particularly if it's, maybe it's a course that's 2 grand or something like that. So they want social proof, right? That's going to be in your follow ups, in those touches. They want to know it's worked for other people. They want to be able to see that they need to believe it can work for them. And that's something marketers often don't spend enough time. Your prospect has to feel that I could do this, or this could work for me.
Mhm.
And until you get them into feeling that confidence, it's difficult to get them to make a move forward.
Yeah, and that's an incredible journey. So with those 8 touch points, what are some of those suggested pieces of content that you would highly suggest to any company out there?
Well, the first thing that you would typically do if you were using a lead magnet on your, let's just say for argument's sake, you're offering a free report. The
Hmm.
first touches, you really want to introduce yourself. You don't want to go over the top and,
Okay.
marching band and everything, but you want to deliver what you said you were going to deliver.
Yeah.
So that's not, and you need to deliver it right away. Like, because otherwise they won't wait around. It's not like they're going to sit there for 4 hours. Go, geez, Dustin said he was going to send me that. I'm sure he will. He seems like a nice guy. It's got to get there right away because the
Okay.
expectation level is high. So the next one, another email, another touch, you might expand a little bit on who you are and how you make differences. The next one might be a case study. Then you might start talking, again, this is done by email. You might start talking about 3 or 4 of the major issues or concerns that your prospects have, and you might expand upon them. Dustin felt this way before he invested in our course, or whatever it happens to make.
Yeah.
Here's what he found. So you have to kind of show them the journey and how they can get to the transformation and enjoy the benefits as well. So it takes time because they don't call it a nurture campaign for nothing. It takes time. People life gets in the way.
for
You
sure.
know, right? It happens to all of us. People, people are keen to do something, and then little Joey breaks his wrist at roller hockey or whatever. I mean, I'm not laughing. I'm sure little Joey didn't find that funny, but life gets in the way, so they get
Sure.
distracted. People are easily distracted, which is why, by the way, the FAQ page on a website is one of the most important pages on there. People are lazy, and so if they can get somebody else to do the heavy lifting, they'll go to that FAQ page and hit it before anything else.
That's a beautiful little nugget of truth there that I've never even considered. Like I put the FAQ strictly for like SEO purposes to answer questions and hopefully get on snippets of Google, but I never recognized it for that kind of power before.
Well, it's probably one of the most underused sales pages on a website, and here's
Hmm.
why. Have I got a second to explain this? Minute, so
Absolutely.
yeah. So I once had a client who was a laser eye surgeon, and he was in a dogfight every day with the other laser eye surgeons in the city I live in, and it was all over price and everything like that. Then I asked him one day, I asked him, "What makes your practice different than the other guy?" He says, "Well, a lot of them don't. A lot of the laser eye docs come into the practice and just rent the space." And so I asked him another question. I said, "What are co-management fees?" Like these are things I learned in conversations with him. And co-management fees essentially were sort of little built-in givebacks to the optometrist who kind of gave the reference to the laser eye surgeon.
Okay.
So I took the FAQ page, and the first two questions went from like, "Are you open on Saturday? Do you take Visa?" Stuff like that, to "Do you own your own clinic?" And then the answer and it was built in trap for their competitor was, "Hey, I do own it, and that's why customer service is very important to me. I'm my customer service is blah 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 blah." Well, the first thing the person reading that would do is go back to somebody else, another laser eye doc they were
Yeah.
considering, and say, "Hey, do you own your practice?" "Well, no, our doctors are all they just come in." "So how committed are they to customer service?" And then the other thing was the co-management fees. "Do you charge co-management fees?" He didn't.
Hmm.
So the question was, "Do you charge them?" He said no. So they went back asking the competitor, "What's a co-management fee?" And the competitor had to squirm and explain, "Oh, it's a little sort of kickback to the optometrist." To so in other words, their prices were inflated.
Yeah.
So we use the FAQ page to put in the competitive advantages.
Hmm.
So once the person went there, they immediately were given additional questions to ask the other people they were considering, and it helped them out quite a bit.
That's smart. Love that. Now, time to pay some sponsors here real quick, and we'll take a break. And our sponsor of the day is Affy Stash. And the reason I love this tool so much is the speed and intensity that you can help find the right affiliates for your affiliate program. Affy Stash is going to reduce the time you're spending to find that contact information. You set up a demo with us and you're going to get live results. I'm going to send you 20 free high potential affiliate targets in just a 15-minute call. Go to dustinhouse.com/demo and sign up right now. And speaking of Affy Stash, like I need some love on our website and our funnel, like getting people in. I'm gonna have to use your services here, Gerry. It's just a matter of like in the investment of time and your effort. Um, but I've got to fix something there. Like we're not getting enough traffic to the site per se, but like I just haven't had the time to spend on like doing a great landing page and like beautifying it and fixing those FAQs. The nurture campaign I think is pretty decent altogether, but like capturing that lead, we're falling behind. I'm gonna have to use your help here soon.
I'd be glad to help any way I can. And by the way, when you mentioned that nurture campaign, I wanted to add something. A lot of times, marketers create these nurture campaigns, but one thing they forget is they you see when you look at a website or look at a nurture campaign, it's amazing to me how many times marketers use the words you or use the words our, us, we,
Mm. Okay.
and you go on a website and that's a turnoff to the prospect because they don't care about us, not until we've shown that we care about what they're trying to do. But some just go on websites and just take a look how many times everything is presented from the company's point of view instead of talking about the prospect in like the prospect is interested in your my like words that are related to him or her. And so many times the copy is not focused. So you would have an email, for instance, that talks about how great you are. Not you, of course. I'm sure yours doesn't have this issue, but they talk about our this, our They don't talk about the benefit to the prospect. And that's a huge mistake because the prospect is jaded. They always hear about how great this software is or how fantastic this coaching program is. They don't care because they don't believe most of it. You've got to show them that you truly believe or you truly understand the issues they're facing.
Right, and that is a an issue that a lot of companies probably don't even recognize or even recognize that they're doing is talking about themselves, and that's the power of affiliate marketing because you're getting a third party that has experience with that product and believes in it and is promoting it as this is a good product that you should try. And it's not coming from a place like our product is the best. But don't really recognize that sometimes when you're like building out those campaigns.
Often you're too close to it. An
Mhm.
outsider comes in and says like, why would I do this? All you're doing is you're like a peddler. You're just peddling your product. I can get a product that offers a bigger affiliate commission down the road. They're all over the place, right? From proven affiliate marketers. So you need to be able to impart to that to the email reader that you really care about his or her success. And that's one of the things that Matt really, I think one of the things that used to be back in the day with the affiliate marketing used to be go get yourself Jeff Walker, Ryan Levesque, and like,
Mhm.
these big shooters and everything like that, and you'd be laughing. But it's not like that anymore. It's the mom and pops and a lot of smaller affiliates, and you have to appeal to them on a level where it makes sense to them, right? You
Mhm.
have to you have to let them know it's okay if you only make 10 sales or whatever it happens to be. You need to get inside their mind and treat them like a valuable contributor because one day they will be if you nurture them and don't just contact them when there's a launch, right?
Okay.
Like, don't just show up on 2 months or 3 months before the launch. Start hammering them with emails. Stay in touch with them. 12 years, 12 months of the year. Just
Yeah.
little again, those little touches are what make the difference between a connection and I kind of forgot about you guys.
Awesome. All right, Jerry, let's switch gears and talk about your 7 strategies to start converting more. You've got an incredible piece of um, lead generation here that I absolutely love. Go to dustinhouse.com/Jerry and sign up for yourself. But tell us a little bit more about this strategy and how you came about it.
Well, these are in addition to I'll use one as an example. Grabbing attention. Here's one of the examples I've already spoken about, but in a little more detail. These 7 things are things where you are leaking money if you're not doing them. They're almost like they're kind of like no brainers from our side,
Hmm.
us being marketing people, but from the business owners people, they don't necessarily understand the importance of them, but they do make a huge difference. So just I'll just give you this first example about grabbing attention. Just think you poured all this money into SEO and paid ads to get people to your site, and you have a wishy-washy or almost just a beige headline that basically says "Me too, me too."
Mhm.
You're basically saying to the reader, "Hey, you've been to 9 sites. We're just the 10th." Right? So one of the strategies in there is, if you did nothing else, use a headline that will telegraph to the reader why they'd be crazy to do business anywhere else. When I say use a headline, Dustin, I'm not saying talk about your stuff.
Okay.
A good headline, and that this is one of the 7 strategies. A good headline has 4 elements to it. I can never remember the fourth, but I'm going to try to do it. They need it's we call it the 4 U's:
Okay.
ultra ultra specific, urgent, useful. I've forgotten the fourth one. Doesn't matter right now. The point is this: is to think about the value you offer as a marketer. So let's go to the affiliate marketing manager who's
Okay.
trying to has an affiliate a site where he's trying to attract affiliates. Well, think of the way you run your affiliate program and then put that in the headline, so that when the potential affiliate comes to the site, they go, that guy's reading my mind.
Hmm.
Right? So it could be something like this as an example. I'm just kind of doing it on the fly, but um, you know, get paid your commissions. You will never wait for a commission to be paid
Okay.
longer than whatever your secret sauce is. That should be in your headline, and that's what you're selling, because that's what the people that want that will buy it because they're not seeing it elsewhere. Give you an example. For me, I'm a copywriter and a marketing guy, but I was a successful salesperson. So I always try, that's the secret sauce I offer. I'm a salesperson first
Hmm.
and a direct response copywriter second. So I know how to sell online and off. And I look at everything through the eyes of a salesperson. And that's what you have to do with that headline. You have to think, what is it that here's where you find the answer. Your clients will tell you. If you read the testimonials, the clients in testimonials, they don't talk about the features and everything like that. They talk about how it made their life better.
Right.
It saved them time, whatever it happened to do. And that's what you need to dig deep for. When I take on a new client, I have a questionnaire. One of the questions is, in 50 words or less, what do you do?
Hmm.
And you'd be stunned at how many people just kind of go, well, I sell this, or they don't understand. They never talk or rarely talk in terms of the value they add to people's lives. And that's what we're looking for when we go to a website: is how are you going to make a difference in my life? And selling me software isn't going to make a difference. Selling me software that can clean up my accounting in 10 days or you don't pay, now you're on to something, right? I'm just kind of making it up, but you've got to be very unique, useful, ultra specific, and I can't remember still. Uh, so the idea is that is one of the number one strategies, and it's probably the most important one, because you got 3 to 5 seconds to get them. If they don't,
Yes.
if they look at the top of your website and they go, "I've seen this story before," they're gone. You will never get a chance. Nothing else matters.
Hmm.
That is where the rubber absolutely hits the road. So
And these are all explained in the 7 strategies
yeah,
that you have,
yeah,
correct?
yeah.
Awesome. Go check it out, dustinhouse.com/Jerry. Now, Jerry, I
Gerry with
want to,
a G.
well, Jerry with the G. Thank you. Good point.
Very
Uh,
good.
I had a friend in grade school with a J. It was wrong.
I
All
know
right. Uh,
they're out there.
yeah, yeah. Tell us a little bit about the history of sales copy. How has it evolved through the years since you've been doing this such a long time?
Well, I think I think it used to be, and they still exist. Um, uh, I mean, sales copy is always rooted in emotion, and there's never
Okay.
you often see like it's funny. It has the basics of selling and the basics of sales copy actually remain unchanged for years and years and years.
Hmm.
The channels you use to get your sales message out there come and go, right? We see
Okay.
those, coming, and the formats, like it used to be a long form sales letter that was upwards of, sometimes 37 pages that did
Jeez.
very well.
Right.
Can you imagine? And people will say, well, who would read that? Well, the thing that will never change, right? You're asking about how has it evolved. The thing that will never change is if you are like, if we have a problem and we don't have it solved, and somebody comes along and basically promises a solution, we'll read every word of it.
Hmm.
If it's written, if it's written in a way like a lot of times when we write a sales letter, we write it like a bucket brigade. So you can imagine the water being passed along, along the line to put out the fire. Well, the sales copy is written. One line leads to the next line. That line leads to the next line. So it's kind of a tumbling effect, if you will. So it used to be 37 pages was not out of the norm to sell a $200 course of some kind.
Right.
Well, that's given way to video. Now, video is a big people like video, and we see that all over the place. So now a lot of selling is done by videos, and um, a guy that really, I'm going to say 15 years ago, that especially in the affiliate marketing world, that really changed the game was Jeff Walker
Okay.
with his Sideways sales letter. And the Sideways sales letter is basically 3 videos that lead to a sales page. The 3 videos talk about the transformation, the opportunity, and ownership, and it's all aimed at the reader to make them feel here's the opportunity, here's the transformation you can enjoy, and here's the way you get it. So he's chopped it up. He did this about 20 years ago, I guess, chopped it up into more bite sized videos that could be anywhere from 18 to 25 minutes. Um, and so that's a different way. And many people in the affiliate world use that now, the sideways sales letter. I mean, he's just revolutionized that, but he's done it, been doing it for about 20 years.
Sure.
And but as far as the sales copy itself, it's basically it does remain unchanged. The most important thing is before people are going to respond to sales copy, you need to get them to the place where they could feel the problem that they have. They need to be in that state so that because they wouldn't necessarily be there when they read your sales letter or your
Hmm.
email. You want to get them there. So that's why you see a lot of sales copy that starts. Has this ever happened to you? You're doing this or you're doing that, because that frames it up so that the person goes, "That's me. You're reading my mind." So I would say it hasn't changed. The formula for effective sales writing hasn't really changed a lot.
Okay. But one thing that has changed, and the super hot topic of today's marketing is AI, and uh, I feel like copywriting is one of those industries that is getting the most affected by AI and what's coming out now. So, in your opinion, is AI really taking over the copywriting scene?
I think here's my thoughts on this. I think I've used AI to write
Okay.
my own copy. I would look at AI as a heavy lifter. It can
Okay.
help with research and get the grunt work done.
Yeah.
What it will never replace a human who addresses the nuances and the emotions of the person being sold.
Okay.
So if we're saying copywriting, if it's content writing, that's a little different because content. I always, Dustin, I hear people talk about content writing as if that's sales copy. Of course, it's not. Content writing to me is blog,
Okay.
blog content, um, white papers, free reports, that kind of thing, even though it's all intended to move people through the sales funnel. But when you use AI, sure, you can say, how do I do this? And AI will spit out, and if you've used it, in less than 10 seconds, you're going to have 2 pages of content. But then you have to take that and build in the person to person, if it's copywriting and, sales copywriting,
Yeah.
you have to build in the nuances that turn it into sales copy. AI can't do that. It can't think. It's not human, right? So it can save a lot of time, but it sort of gets you started on things, if you will.
I feel the same way in that kind of sense, and it's the same for partnership marketing. Like I don't think AI is going to be taking over like the way we run partnerships in this industry, and the same as in like humanizing the way you're solving an issue in the copyright scene. Like AI just isn't there yet. Hopefully, we still have jobs in 10 years, and it doesn't completely take over. But I love your point of view on that right there. Um, all right, as we wind down, it is time for you to defend your post, sir. And I found something on your LinkedIn that I wanted to bring up, and that is a a little segment. He said, "Do you lack marketing confidence? Does your online marketing seem complicated? Have you been gurued?" I absolutely love that line. Have you been gurued? And I think like a large majority of people out there laugh at the term of guru at this point in the day. But like, what brought you to write like create gurued?
I think it's kind of an all-encompassing term. A lot of times, as writers, we make stuff up, but you have to look at it this way: we think in pictures,
Okay.
right? That's how we think, and so when the copywriter will try and tell a story with as few words as possible. To me,
Okay.
that term "guru," I tend to think that a lot of people might think about a time when they forked out money to somebody who was really a charlatan and really looking for a one-time sale,
Yeah.
and but positioned themselves as this great expert. Like these people I get emails from all the time. You'll be on page one by 7 o'clock tonight. Well, that's and why? Oh, we're so good and everything. If I did business with that person, I'd be caught being rude. So I used it in terms of trying to say there's a lot of pretenders out there, and some big names too, that pretend they're the real deal, but they haven't been in the trenches,
Yeah.
and they're great at pulling the wool over your eyes. And if you've ever had somebody, I'm not saying this as a blanket statement about all web developers, but if you've ever had somebody in that industry, they hold tremendous power over us because we know nothing
Yeah.
often, and so they position themselves as the big guru, and I know it all, and until I get to you, you're helpless. And but I find a lot of times, just like the Wizard of Oz, you pull back the curtain, baby, and there's not much there.
Yeah, and I feel like guru statement is a testament of like where your knowledge base is. Like if you have this upward trajectory of learning an industry and you get to the 5-year mark and you think you're the smartest person in the world, now you're in that guru state and you
Mhm.
just stay there until you recognize you know nothing. And then you
Right,
start going back the other way and like you take that guru off of your plate and
that's
like
great.
you're not a guru anymore. You might be an expert, and like even if you get a little further down the line, you're not an expert anymore. You still know less, and I feel like that way in this affiliate realm. Like I'm constantly learning new things, and that's why I bring on wonderful guests like you to teach me those marketing nuances that I am just not as accustomed to as you are. So Really appreciate your time today here, Gerry. How do we get a hold of you?
You can get hold of me at marketingwriter.ca. So it's marketinger.ca. Marketingwriter.ca.
Marketingwriter.ca. Gerry, appreciate your time. Thanks for being with us. And for those folks out there, keep on recruiting, and we'll see you out there. Take
And go
care.
grab that report.
Go what?
Go grab that report.
Go
That's
grab
true.
that report. DustinHouse.com/Gerry with a G. All
Thank
right,
you.
folks. Take
Have a
care.
great day.
You too.